My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone, to sense the coming of damn fine podcasts. I sense it coming now.
Okay, let's do this. Gird your loins, boys.
Let me take it. Give it to me.
All right.
You will never be able to podcast as good as us. Your tongue is too human.
Oh, hey, and this is the voicemail shtick that we do on Discovery Home Companion.
Yes.
Hey, companions. Yeah. Hey, and listen to me. Listen to me, guys. Oh, hey, companions and everybody listening to us, Discovery Home Companion. It weirds me out calling you my companion, but maybe that's because I'm a prude. Anyways, we took your voicemails and emails and whatnot, and we're going to listen to them right now. So we'll just jump right into it. How about that?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, Discoverers. This is Stefan from the Netherlands. You asked for predictions about Discovery. It's hard to say anything about what the rest of the plot will be, but I do want to do a prediction about the kind of show we'll be seeing, since a lot of people, me included, aren't quite sure what exactly it is we're now watching. Star Trek usually doesn't use flashbacks as a regular storytelling device. Only in certain episodes, under certain circumstances, like the Bajoran Orbs in the DS9 pilot, and usually episodes revolving around a trial or hearing. These flashbacks, I think, in Discovery we'll have them throughout the season. We'll be seeing more of Burnham as a child on Vulcan, I think, and probably more of her time serving under Captain Giorgio. I mean, I haven't even checked, but is Michelle Yeoh in more episodes than just the two? I mean, these flashbacks might actually add context to the events of the first two episodes in a way that a lot of modern sci-fi fantasy shows seem to do these days. So Discovery could turn out to be like Sherlock or Doctor Who or I guess Westworld, where the producers want us to think we're seeing something, and late at the end of the season, ta-da, it turns out that, well, it's actually completely different. So I actually do think that there will be a mystery box element to Discovery. I do hope it will be more than that. Finally, a friend of mine pointed out that when Burnham shoots T'Kuvna, she actually sets her phaser to kill. It was on stun setting before, and right before she kind of pulls the trigger, you see the lights switching from blue to red. Any thoughts on that? Okay, nice.
That's a point that the Plinkett guys made in their little thing of the pilot too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that she was emotionally compromised in the moment.
Yeah,
and
but
decided to smoke the guy.
I
right?
can see that if you're emotionally compromised, but then you shift the nature of the weapon. It's a little like it moves it from third degree murder to second degree murder. I think. Like I don't know my laws, but I think that's it's a shift of intent. So
right, maybe that's what she feels guilty about. That and blah 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 because nobody else knows what she did over there. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
It's an interesting little thing. I'm kind of. Yeah. I'd actually be surprised if the show calls out that she set it to kill, even if she did. I feel like.
But then you go, why did they?
I hope
film it that way.
Yeah,
you go through all the trouble of doing special effects to change it if it's unimportant.
Well, because of producer bullshit, like where they're like, well, he has to kill him. It's like, but she wouldn't have. Well, she has to, and then I don't know. It could be too many cooks. You know, like, well, she set it to kill, and then somebody later on comes like, why'd that kill him? Didn't they have it to set to stun? And then a producer just tells the art effects guy just show it's going to kill, and then that explains it when it doesn't really.
No,
I've been defending the show a lot, but it could be like them trying to just cover up stuff.
I mean, I think that I'm going to get into it once. I don't want to get defensive off the bat here, but like, yes. So I think that it could be a too many cooks situation.
Well, I mean, I do think it's interesting that Stephen counts himself among, we put Stephen down early as calling the mystery box element, and actually pointing out, flashbacks are a device for the mystery box genre. Yeah. So it is a good observation. It shouldn't be dismissed. That's what I'm saying.
I've not, out of making a bunch of shit about it.
That's it.
I'm thinking about it. No, out of making a bunch of shit about it, I've come around to maybe opening up I wanted to get more into the emails. So before I go off on this whole tangent about my brain and what this show has done to my brain. So I'll put a pin in that. I'll wait for the appropriate phone call to do a whole unpacking of my bullshit.
All right. Well, since we just listened to Stephen and his thoughts about the pilot there, we can just jump forward here. He has some thoughts about the last episode as well. Mm-hmm. Discovery. It's email titled "Discovery Comments Are for Kings." And here's where he goes on his thoughts on episode 3.
Hello, Discoverers. This is Stefan from the Netherlands with my thoughts on episode 3. Context is for Kings. First of all, the characters. I thought Martin Green was pretty decent as Burnham. Pretty restrained, but I guess the story kind of dictated that. I liked her scenes with Lorca. The character of Lorca was done very well by Jason Isaacs. And so far, the character seems very obviously drawn as a bad guy, as you already pointed out. The guy's name is Gabriel Lorca. That's a name for a Bond villain. So, but Isaac modulates very well between charming and sinister. So, I was kind of hooked by his performance. As for the other characters, the security chief, I've got little to say about her, other than I'm pretty sure she wasn't Apollo's wife in Battlestar Galactica. I think she was President Roslin's second aide.
Oh, maybe not.
Cadet Tilly was neurotic and annoying and reminded me far too much of Rich Barkley from The Next Generation. And I fucking hate Rich Barkley.
Ow.
So up until
I didn't hear that. What did he say?
With her, I want to be captain someday.
Barkley,
which I did like, but I didn't enjoy that. Character.
Who's Barkley?
Lieutenant Barkley.
Hold it.
The science guy, Paul Stamets. Okay, based solely on this one episode, I would rather spend an evening with Julian Bashir from season 1 of Deep Space Nine than this prick. The dialogue for this character is 100% contemporary Silicon Valley IT genius bullshit. The kind of dialogue Damon Lindelof thinks is inspired. And the actor just leaned into it, making it much, much worse. I hope to God that they will soften this character down. Saru was, on the other hand, pretty good. They toned him down a little bit, so I like the somber tone of his scenes with Burnham. Civil, but with a sense of familiarity and quite level of discomfort. So that was fine. I think that's all the new characters, right? Plot-wise, it seemed to be all set up for cloak and dagger stuff with loads of mystery and things that are unexplained. I couldn't understand how the spores worked. They kind of explained it, but Discovery's brand of technobabble will take some while to getting used to, I think. Mildly enjoyable overall, with stuff I liked and stuff I didn't like. I hope next week's a little bit better. Okay, guys. See you later.
Okay, that actress did play in Battlestar Galactica.
She's in Battlestar Galactica. She's not his wife.
Meow. Pulling no punches.
Right.
Pulling no punches with Cadet Tilly or Paul Stamets. Jeez.
Yeah.
So he's one of ours, Hugh.
He's one of yours.
Well, I mean, I didn't have that much. I mean, she didn't. I liked her at the end. I didn't care for the trope of the chatty, nerdy, allergic roommate and the brooding roommate that gets irritated. Like the odd couple roommate trope is what I cared less for than the actual character, because the character actually has wants and needs and ambitions that are interesting. I was just disappointed with at that point
With
in the
the trope.
story in that episode was the trope. Yeah, that was more my objection. I mean, he really pulls no punches. I mean, he really doesn't like her.
He did not care for
Mhm.
Mae Wiseman as Cadet Tilly. I mean, I stand by it. I think she's great.
I don't think I think she's fine. She didn't bother me as much as specifically Anthony Rapp did.
as Paul Stamets did, like because
Yes, and
Whoop.
it's
Yeah.
the character. It's not him. And I thought, yes,
I like the-
I agree
yeah,
with
I
almost
mean,
everything he said.
I still think surprise, I liked Anthony Rapp and that character a lot.
I did too. I think I did too. I think I liked sometimes, like I said, his lines delivery bothered me, and maybe some of it was ADR'd, especially in the dark scenes.
No,
That's what
maybe
made it
some
feel
of that
like a video game.
It's he speaks in this. They wanted to give him a unique, I don't know, like a future patois or something, because he's not Starfleet. He's been sort of dragooned into this, and so they wanted to like.
That's a good way to put it. But was he acting like a Joss Whedon character?
Yes, like I watched it 4 times this week. This thing has fucked my brain, like in a way that no other Star Trek has. And
I mean, this particular episode, James, because you were fine for episode 1 and 2.
I was fine. I was fine with it, but this episode fucked my feelings about that shit too. It threw it all up. Like,
Yeah.
It overturned the whole table of what I think about this show.
Do we have more Star Trek Discovery calls? that we can go through?
We do.
Why don't we do that, and then we can revisit?
I mean, we
I
do
do want to clarify. Whoa! I was wrong though. He was definitely right. I think we just said it. He's definitely right. It is not Adama's wife. It was not Lee Adama's wife. It is. She was the
President's aide.
She was a Cylon. So yes.
Spoilers for
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica.
Spoilers for a
you
show that he
youngins.
did years ago. Fuck you if you
Sure.
don't.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
but I don't hold the show against itself for casting people that were in another sci-fi show that I like. I'm happy
I
with
wasn't
those guys
holding
got
that
work.
against it.
Sure.
I wasn't holding that against it. I was making a reference to it that it reminds you of
Well,
it.
you said that it was like you said it took you out of it because it reminded
I said it.
you of
No, I said that it was
Battlestar.
unfortunate that they have a character for Battlestar to make you compare it to Battlestar.
All right. Well, most of us don't remember that character from Battlestar, and those of us that do remember she was in Battlestar don't even remember.
She was
even
one of the
remember which
12
character she
Cylons
was.
on this. She was a Cylon.
You remember that? Do you remember that now? That Steve.
No, I knew she was a
corrected
Cylon
you.
then. I said that she was Apollo's wife, but she's not. That was the.
So I'm
I
just
knew that
saying you
she's
don't remember her as well as you thought.
I remembered her as a member of Battlestar Galactica. Was I wrong about that?
Yeah, but sorry, I'm just being a dick now.
Yes,
you didn't
a little
remember she
bit.
was a Cylon, and you said, "Oh, it took me out of it," and you didn't remember
I didn't say
her
I
enough.
said what I edited the episode. I said that
The
it
fact
is
that she was in
unfortunate-
that took you out of it.
It is unfortunate that they made that comparison with an actress because it's an unfair.
You made that comparison though. They didn't do it, and you didn't even remember what she played in Battlestar.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Me being a dick. I'm sorry.
I think
I'm
my
an
point
asshole.
stands.
I don't know if it does. Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry, James. I'm being a dick.
This is
So,
okay.
we
Okay,
should-
are you
let's-
denying the
let's-
point? Wait, hold on. Are you
Oh my
denying the
God.
point that it actually is trying to ape the feel of sci-fi shows like Battlestar Galactica and Expanse? Because it's not aping Star Trek. That's my issue.
I'm arguing against the fact that their casting of an actor from another sci-fi show that I like was an unfortunate thing.
Okay, I'm
that
sorry
ruined the
that my
show.
quick. I'm sorry that my transitional illusion. I'm sorry that my transitional illusion broke your brain. I'm saying that they
The
are
illusion didn't. Your point.
they are
just doesn't
trying
make-
to be like Battlestar Galactica. That's what the show is trying to feel like.
They're not
It's dark.
specifically. They're trying to be a modern sci-fi blah 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 show.
Which definitely
get it.
means Battlestar Expanse. That's what it means.
Sure, but the fact that they cast people from those shows is not a part of what makes me oh my god, I can't. The fact that they cast that guy is not them.
You do realize after 100 times of saying this that that's not what I was saying, right?
Well, that's what your point was.
It is unfortunate that they make that they cast an actress that forces the comparison, but they're clearly trying to ape Battlestar Galactica. Was my point.
Oh yeah. Well, your point when the episode was that casting that actor aped it.
It was not. I said it was unfortunate that they cast an actress that calls forth the remembrance of the show.
Exactly. But it didn't call forth the remembrance except
oh my God.
for me. That's what
guys, can we table this just so we get on to the next 8 calls
but
and then we can revisit it?
I do. Here's the thing. I'm making controversial decisions, opinions to our fan base. I want to be attacked on my actual opinions and not other stuff.
Okay,
I'm sorry if I misrepresented you.
Okay.
But that's
all right.
I'm just
that's a nice apology.
All right.
I'm going to get attacked legitimately. I want to get attacked legitimately. So,
all right.
James, you're going to wake up tomorrow. You're going to have an edible arrangement delivered to your house. He's that sorry. Let's move on to the next phone call.
All right. Here we got something from we got a call from Kristen from Toronto.
Oh, we like Kristen.
Oh, we like Kristen. It's been a while, hasn't it?
This is her. Yeah. This is her first impression in one batshit direction I really want the show to take. Is how what she said in her email. Let's just hear it and see what batshit direction she's talking about.
Hello, Kickers of Elves. This is Kristen from Toronto. First time calling into a Discovery Home Companion. Enjoying the new show, guys. Congratulations. I don't have a ton to say yet about Discovery because I'm kind of reserving my judgment on it. Though I would say it feels an awful lot like Enterprise. Not just because it's a prequel, but because the production design is really good. It's probably the strongest part of it. And all the characters are assholes. So, much like Enterprise. Not a complaint. I like shows about space assholes. But just an observation. Anyway, there is one thing I do really want from Discovery that I know it's not going to do, but I'm going to make it my personal headcanon from now on. I really want Tilly to turn out to be the lady who steals Captain Kirk's body, because that's the only way she can learn how to be a starship captain. I want Tilly to start dropping some hints about this guy she dated in the academy, and he dumped her because his career took off, and how everything comes so easy for him and it's just not fair. And I want to see her becoming more bitter and disillusioned and cutting off her hair and straightening it because she looks too childish, and changing her name to something more mature sounding, like, I've forgotten what her name was, Janet or Janice, something like that. And I just want Discovery to turn out to be this really elaborate retconning of Turnabout Intruder. Just because. But that's just me. I mean, if you guys have an in and you can get me into the writer's room, Discovery showrunners, I will relocate. So, hey, you guys shoot in Toronto. I'm from Toronto. It's all good. Anyway, enjoying the show, guys. Thanks a lot for everything you do. Good night.
Okay, that's fun.
See, that's a fun connection. That would be doing that with Tilly would be super interesting, and not something that anybody would see coming. So yeah, well done, Kristen. Well said.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it is time for us to use our connections with, CBS, the Discovery Cast, the writers, which we're really close friends with. That's why we can talk such shit about them, right?
I'm pretty sure I've heard, I have no connections, but I'm pretty sure that statement can perpetuate through the future too.
Right. They're gonna like this guy. Yeah, let's whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll set you up real fast there, Kristen. But I love that idea that she talks about. Yeah, this guy was, and he was this this white guy that's rising right through the ranks, going to be the first. Actually, it makes sense because she's like, I'm going to be a captain someday. And like her, with Kirk being the youngest captain in the history of Starfleet, that's canon, right? And
I don't know what's canon and what's not anymore.
I'm pretty sure even in the prime timeline, that Captain Kirk, when they go through the Kobayashi Maru stuff, it's like it's not like in the JJ stuff where he's a captain right out of the academy or anything, but like he served 10 years and made captain or something crazy, and that's like as quick as anybody's made it.
Yeah,
To throw in some Tilly stuff where she's like, I know this guy, I fucked him in school or something, like, because we were at the top of our class and we are both very competitive, and we were like, and then but we kind of, I don't know, it would be interesting. I'm on board.
That part would be great. But yet again, it's like I don't know what is canon anymore. The shuttles can travel at light. The shuttles travel at warp now. I don't know.
Yeah, we had to get runabouts for that.
So I think she makes a good point about the production design. It does look pretty slick. I'm pretty happy with how everything looks.
Yeah, I'm not.
And it does look the uniforms do look like they're slightly related to the Enterprise jumpsuits. They seem like a natural evolution.
I get that.
It seems weird. It doesn't strike me, and I know that this is a guess, but they don't look like they're a couple of years away from switching to sweaters. That's my issue.
Right. It would be if this show would earn so much goodwill for me, like if at the end of the episode, at the end of the season, they're like, and now we're putting colors on everything. Hey, we're getting rid of these war uniforms, and now we're wearing sweaters now. If they did that at the end of the season,
the captains get to wear green sarongs. I don't know why. Every now and then,
Jason Isaacs would look pretty damn cool in the classic gold captain's outfit.
Yeah, or that. What about his weekend gold or green?
The weekend greens. Yeah. I think that was like Kurt's personal like wardrobe.
You think that's like what he?
That's what he was. Yeah. That's like when he gets called up to the bridge in the middle of the night and he's wearing that.
Right.
Like,
well, supposedly the green, it wasn't supposed to look green. It's just that's what it looked like on camera. It's supposed to be gold or something, but that's how it came out.
Yeah.
It was gold, but it was a different design than everybody else's sweaters.
Yeah, it was definitely a different design. And
it showed his chest hair, didn't it?
Right. In reality, when it wasn't on film, it didn't look as green as it did.
Yeah, I can see that.
But whatever.
All right.
We got more calls.
Oh yeah, we do.
Bring it on.
All right.
We got more Canadians.
Is this one
we have two?
JR?
We have JR. Yeah. We have a couple here from a good friend of the show on Twitter. He has actually a couple of things that he put in for Discovery.
Episode 3.
One on episode 3 and one on the series in general. So
okay, let's hear it all out.
Oh, so we're 2 calls in one?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is JR from Quebec City, a friend of Cisco, but also a disco homie. I've been tweeting at you guys for a while, and I've been itching to send a voicemail, so here we go. Regarding episode 3, I think James and Hugh, you gotta take a breather, you guys. It's still early in the series, so before saying everything sucks and it's shitty, we gotta wait a while. Lorca is really intriguing. I'm really excited to learn more about him, even though he seems to be shitting on everything Starfleet stands for. It's a real weird matchup between him and Saru, since Saru is basically a coward and Lorca looks like a fighter, so I'm really curious to see them interact in critical situations. I'm guessing some of Lorca's shadiness has to do with Section 31, because they mention black badges when they come on the ship for the FaceTime. So it's gonna probably be a thing down the road. Stamets and Lorca arguing on orders pissed me off at first, but when you understand how Stamets' research was hijacked by Lorca and Starfleet, it makes more sense, and he's a civilian and doesn't like to be ordered around that way, and also the way he's being treated by Starfleet is to me another Section 31 tale. It seems the obvious path with Lorca is for him to be destroyed by his obsession with winning the war, but maybe it's a bit too obvious. It would not be a first in Trek that a powerful white dude is brought down by his hubris and thinking he can overstep on everything. The general arc of the series better be positive, and if truth and virtue and openness doesn't win the day, then I'll be very pissed. Last comment on episode 3, Tilly's hair at the end. What the fuck, you guys? was really, really huge hair. We did not expect that in the living room.
You guys got to get with some redheads, man. Like I don't know.
I've been there.
I get to each his own.
I think
All right.
Wade had to clear out the redhead section on his hard drive before we could record this podcast.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can cut that joke out. But
I love it.
I think that he brings up some good points. I think Section 31, the stink of Section 31, and I don't care for Section 31 as an institution at all.
Mm-hmm.
The stink of Section 31 is
all
all
over
over
this, yeah.
Lorca. And I agree with that. And it's on the ship, too. It's called, that's the number on the ship,
it's 1031.
Yeah, it's like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise with the number 31 being on the actual hull of the ship and the black badges. And don't worry about Starfleet. They give me some leniency. Is that what he said to Burnham whenever he said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the ability to pardon life sentences on the fly.
Well, there is a precedent of prisoners being on starships and on the shows. On Voyager, what's his name? Blondie McGee, whose dad was an admiral, was in prison and got put on the ship.
Tom Paris.
Tom Paris.
That's because he had it's so weird that I know a little bit about a Voyager thing because I've watched these, but that was because he said specific knowledge and it was limited usage. He was only let out when it was like they were in the middle of no man's land.
Okay.
She didn't actually reduce his sentence. She didn't actually reduce his sentence or commute his sentence. It was just like a moot point because they were
right. Well, that gets all wishy-washy with all the Maquis that they just let off.
Yeah. I mean, when you're stranded, 60 years from home and you've got, the only other humans that can run the ship with you are your prisoners, it is a little different than just being able to say, don't worry, I'll smooth it over with the bosses. I've got that kind of leeway.
Yeah.
That's pretty messed up. So
yeah, he's definitely running some shenanigans behind the scenes.
You know what? If he obviously, no matter what we say about Lorca, he's obviously a true believer of some sort. Like whatever bullshit he's on, he believes it 100%. So yeah, I'm here for Jason Isaacs, and by proxy, that makes me sort of hopeful that Lorca's going to be a good guy.
And I do like the choices that they've made where.
Wait. Oh, wait, a good guy or a good character?
No, I think the interesting thing to me would be if he turns out to be a good guy.
I agree with that statement. What do you think the likelihood of that happening?
I think they're gonna.
Don't know what kind of. I don't know this.
I don't think this show's gonna be playing in good guys and bad guys or black hats and white hats.
I don't know if they will be or not.
I think that's the whole
shifted.
Point they're trying to
this
do.
Show's got 2 pilots, and I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions. He is right though. We understand that we need a slower roll. That it's only episode 3. I'll acknowledge that. But I was talking about how I felt during episode 3, and what I felt during episode 3 was not good. So I'm not talking about the series at large when I'm complaining about specifically episode 3.
Okay, so I think
like
he's talking
James
to me, and
was complaining about the series.
Yeah. Okay, no, and I'll defend that. This is not an episodic television show. This is a show that's got, for the most part, a single self-contained story. So
you need to let the story play out, I think is the point. You need to chill out and wait.
So it's got this single storyline.
It might have first act problems. I'm willing to admit that, but you still got to let it play out to see if they can fix them.
You're right. Okay.
I'm sorry.
We have this sort of general sort of issue. And so what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around, where we're 3 out of 7, 8, I don't know, they've changed it now. 3 out of 8 episodes before a break. So we're 3 of 8 in this half season.
3 out of 9, I think.
They added more.
So I thought they added the 8th, not the 9th.
They added the 9th, I think.
Okay, so either way, so we're 3 out of 9. So we're a third of the way through this batch, this little half season. And not only that, but we've been introduced to all of the characters. And they've spent a giant amount of this time, a full 2 hours.
Not the doctor.
On the doctor. A full 2 hours with this starting incident that started the major war. It put our character in the position that she's in now. It killed a marquee actress. They brought her on essentially as a stunt casting. It introduced Saru as a character. It introduced Burnham as a character. It introduced all of the Klingons as a storyline unto itself. That essentially, and I understand that there's going to be Klingons in this show. That the story of T'Kuvma is over. Now it's the story of what T'Kuvma means to the existing Klingons. It's a new story. So I don't know what I saw the first 2 hours because it's kind of like I don't get it. And so this is what broke my brain. Burnham is sent to jail at the end, and she's a mutineer, and and now she is coded in the ship. She's brought onto the ship because she's a rule breaker, and that she broke a rule in the first episode. She mutinied. She attacked her captain to incapacitate her captain so she could countermand her captain's orders about how to handle the Klingons and put the order into herself. That didn't get to happen because the plot had the captain wake up and shoot her and all of this stuff. So I don't know as a viewer if Michael Burnham thinks she was making the right decision then and got stopped, or if she didn't. So I don't know. Is it right to break Starfleet protocol to have a is it right? Like in the pale moonlight issues, the pale moonlight issues. I don't know if that is what she wanted.
That's
or
the whole
not.
point of the
so
show.
I can't understand her perspective at this moment. I don't understand it. I don't understand her moment at the end of the original pilot. I don't understand her motives at the end of the third pilot.
At the beginning of episode 3, she has realized that she mutinied. She realized she needs to do time for the crime. She's given up hope. She's willing to die.
Sure.
I mean, that's all there.
But none of that answers the way she felt about the morality of the action that she took on that ship. It's saying that she thinks, okay, I broke protocol, I broke a rule, and now I'm going to pay the crime for it. That's just justice. She has a sense of personal justice.
She betrayed her values in Starfleet.
But did she do it for the right reason?
That's what this show might explore. It's the first episode after that. You have to give it time to whether that's what they're going to deal with or not.
But then why did I have to sit through 2 hours of it? It didn't fucking matter.
Nobody said it didn't matter. I'm saying they haven't addressed whether it matters or not.
Guys,
they're still dealing with it.
I feel
if you
like
give me 2 hours, if you give me something, I need to know why. I don't know what the fuck was going on in the 8th episode of Twin Peaks, but I understood on a level why he was showing it to me. And I understood.
You were at the 8th episode by then. We're at the 3rd right now.
It didn't matter.
Nothing in Twin Peaks mattered. Twin Peaks is not a good bar to compare things to. I'm
saying that I don't. It bothers
guys,
me because
we should probably move on to some other calls.
This is fine, but yes, it's early. It's early. I know there's more episodes and there will be more plot. But at the end of, and I'm rewatching the show now, and it's a show that we use as a symbol for the start of the golden age of television, and probably still the best show in the golden age of television.
It's not going to be It's not going to be The Sopranos. I'm sorry.
The beginning of The Sopranos, the pilot doesn't have the story of The Sopranos to it. Of course, there was more episodes, but I understood.
Of course, The Sopranos is a better show. I'm not arguing.
But I understood the moral framework.
There's been a lot of shows that are lesser setting up what they're doing than The Sopranos in the meantime.
I don't understand why you're angry defending against my complaints. Like, it's not, I'm not angry that you like the show. It's that you're angry that I don't. Or that I have these concerns.
Your complaints are this is a bad show because it's not as good as The Sopranos. Because The Sopranos sets this up so well.
My complaints are that this show
is got a very muddled framework going forward, and I don't know what I'm supposed to feel about every character. And since I don't like any character because they're all cunts, like I don't know what I'm supposed to feel, and that's a fundamental problem for me. And I think your answer is that I need to turn my brain off
problem.
and just enjoy it.
Well, that has been my answer, but I think the better answer is the show hasn't told you how to feel yet, and that's kind of that's they would argue whether it's a cop out or not that's their point. They haven't tried to tell you how to feel about it yet.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I would argue that they wanted you for the first 2 episodes. They were very clear on how you should feel. I think they wanted you to feel Michael Burnham's pain of her mistakes in those first 2 episodes.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, everybody misses
her mistakes early on.
Their captain.
Yeah, definitely. They want you to feel her pain of losing her captain and her mistakes at the second episode and the third.
Okay, that's fine, and I get that. I mean, I get that she wanted Michelle Yeoh to live, and that didn't happen. I get that was a pain. I get that she did what she did in Mutiny against him to defend the ship, yes, but also specifically Michelle Yeoh. That she had almost a maternal attachment to Michelle Yeoh, or not even maternal, but like or
you could
the word for sisterly attachment? Sororital,
yeah.
But
sisterly's good enough.
Yeah, so I get all of that. So that's why I go back, watch what I said at the beginning of the pilot. I'm cool with it. I didn't love some stuff. I thought it was shitty. I thought the line by line writing was shitty, but I had no general issues with the plot. And and the Klingons were messy, but other than that, these are surface level complaints, and that I basically liked the show. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Then
the 3rd episode happened.
And that broke your brain.
We almost
wanted to break your brain in real time.
Because most people,
most people like it because they like Jason Isaac and they like that they met the ship called Discovery and that they met a crew that's not going to die at the end of the episode. I get all of that. None of that, but that's all basic surface level bullshit.
That's what your show is.
From a story level perspective, it threw my brain in a blender. And I think that I'm just supposed to be along for the ride. But first off, yes, it is fundamentally, I don't trust anybody that's making this show. And I don't know why I should trust anybody making this show.
Well, let's not worry who's making it.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. That's not my issue.
Your knives out so much.
That's not my issue with it. My issue is I don't trust them. That's not my. I don't trust them, and I like. If this was Noah Hawley, I would say put your feet up and trust him. Surely he's doing something. I did that with Legion.
I don't trust Akiva at all. I think I've made that clear.
No friend of Cisco heard this, but I did that with Legion, where I said, guys, I got major issues with this, but I trust that Hawley's going to fix them. And I was really upset when he didn't.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is I don't even I don't know. I don't know what this is. I think this is that we wanted to make a grim, dark Star Trek.
Maybe it is, but I don't know yet. Like I know
they gave you that taste of corny at that first opening scene in the desert, and you thought, yes, this is what I'm gonna get, and then we haven't had that feeling since.
No,
we got some corny. We got some corny with Cadet Tilly, which I appreciate.
That was something
not corny.
else.
That's funny. That's not corny. That's. I'm
confused about the difference. It was fun. I don't know.
Guys, we should probably get to some other
this
voicemails.
is like, man, Jesus.
That was like its own episode.
This is really hard for me to put out tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Well, it's not going to happen at this point, but I got to do it over the weekend if we get it before the next episode.
So, I don't know. And I've said this on Twitter, and I said this, yes, they can correct this. There can be a scene in next week that would really make it work for me. And maybe they will, and maybe I'll look foolish, but this is where I'm at right now, and it's not. It's a roadblock. And I'm sorry. I think people pay money. These people pay money now, and I'm not going to give them bullshit. I hate it. I'm going to tell them I hate it. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I haven't compromised before on liking, so I'm not now.
Sure.
So,
Do we still have a Kate phone call to get to?
We do.
sweet.
Yes. All right. Well, I think we've said enough there. Who were we listening to last time? I can't even remember.
I think I had pre-planned this rant to go on the nearest the first person that remotely fitted to.
Was that Kristen? Kristen, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You had some good points.
It was a gentleman who is a first-time caller.
Oh, that was JR.
Long time.
JR. He was, and that's tied in because he was actually in on the Twitter argument.
Oh yeah, so he knows exactly where we've been with this.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on Twitter yelling.
We do. It's really fun.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a solution for maybe how to work that out better soon for patrons and stuff. But thanks again, JR. Did we didn't even listen to his second call.
Oh.
He has some opinions on the series in general too.
Okay, let's let him have his full. Like he had to listen to me.
Right. So. Maybe we could have saved that rant till after this. And
we're editing it. We can throw it in there too.
We'll see. All right.
Hey guys, I had another commentary relating on the scripting and the series in general. I agree with James that the writing is a bit obvious, like when Burnham is saying to Lorca that she was living and dying by the Federation principles. They should show it and not tell it. It's harder to do on screen, but it's a bit obvious. I agree with Hugh and James that the first 2 episodes were prologue and now we're getting into the meat of the series. But if episode 3 was aired first, we would be bitching about how unclear all the reference to what Burnham did and how she started the war with the Klingons. And what she did would become the mystery box we hate so much. I think having Michael be stoic and Vulcan-like is probably to set up a big Burnham meltdown, which is going to pay off down at the road at a critical moment. I don't really care about the Spock references and the TOS references. Setting Discovery 10 years before TOS was a clear sign we would get that, and with Harry Mudd on the way, that's just the way it's going to be. Regarding the Klingons, I just accept it's an arbitrary call from the writing team. There's no way to explain it in canon. You take Kor, Koloth, and Kang that we saw in Deep Space Nine. Those guys would have been going through the apex predator to the brown guy with huge eyebrows to the ridges and silly hair. And it wouldn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's silly. It's okay, guys. I'm not looking forward to the Mirror Universe episode. They're a huge waste of time, and it's just an opportunity to get the actors to play their evil twins. All we get from them in Deep Space Nine is horny Kira, and that's all right, I guess. I love the podcast, you guys. It's really a pleasure to be sending a voicemail. Have a great night.
All right, well, I think the authorities have arrived by the end of your call.
There was,
the opinion police came in the paddy-wagon. No, he makes some great points, and he's probably right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my gripe is that I don't think they're going to fix this for me. So that's the ultimate thing. So you're right to stymie my argument by saying wait. Like
yes.
that is an effective strategy against what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure I have less confidence that they're going to fix that than everybody else.
Well,
he's not reading The Art of War and trying to like fuck you up, James. He's just making a larger point about letting.
He's just like, can we reserve judgment till we see the show that we hate all of it and then it's gonna suck?
Sure, I've not said it sucked. That it broke my brain.
Yeah,
said I'm not happy with it.
You've said you hate it a few times, which connotes that you think it's bad.
I don't think I said I hate it.
You said it like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I hated episode 3. I hated episode 3.
Right. Episode 3 of Star Trek Discovery, it will go down. The only redeeming thing about this episode is how much enjoyment I've gotten out of seeing work James over. That's the only redeeming factor. I mean, I've known James for almost 20 years, and I've never seen in a single piece of art confound him.
Me and you didn't have a conversation about Prometheus. Prometheus broke my brain as much as this.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, Prometheus broke my brain. I'm with you on that one. Fuck that movie. No, what broke my brain was being excited for it and then getting y'all on the call last Sunday and like, oh shit.
Yeah, I could tell that most of the tension from that episode, most of the tension was you.
This is 2 weeks in a row I read this wrong.
You thought it didn't. Like, we just did a mirror episode for Rules of Acquisition. You knew that me and Hugh was going to hate that episode. You were guarded for it. You weren't guarded for us hating Context is King.
It's for Kings, yeah. Well, because, I mean, it's my fault for walking into the door 2 times in a row because I was really into the first 2 pilots and we argued about that. I was like, and then the 3rd episode came out and I was like, all right, this is what's going to get him on board. This is where we're going to be friends again. And then he's like, what?
I seriously remember liking the pilot, the first 2.
I remember yelling a lot about it.
I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. But
I remember being like, damn.
Well, what he's saying about the prelude, listen, if they didn't make the first 2 episodes and they went straight to episode 3, I'm not saying that they would do it if they jumped right into their present time in dealing with Michael's redemption. I'm not saying that it would be exactly the same. Of course, they'd have to cut to some past stuff to fill in the blanks of the story. I'm not saying that episode 3 aired as episode 1 wouldn't make any sense. Although as much as it might actually.
I like it. There's a precedent for it. The show that me and Wade love, Leftovers. In the first season, they don't do any preamble until the 9th episode, and then there's lots of questions about like the nature of relationships and why are these people fucked up when they don't seem to have suffered any issues from it.
Yeah.
And then the 9th episode blooms, and then you see it all.
You could do that when you're HBO. You can't do it when you're trying to
I agree.
save a streaming service.
Yeah,
and I think that's why I
agree.
hate this. That's what I don't like about Star. Most of my beef with these problems is that they seem to be coming from a place of business decisions that are getting me to shell out $7 a month for like 4 episodes of TV, which is essentially what I'm doing.
Yeah,
because I get 1 a week for a month, and I'm paying $8, and I'm not watching anything else because CBS, spoiler alert, that stuff is tubed straight into my house for free. And I still don't watch it for free. So I'm a little bit heated about having to pay for CBS All Access when it's got nothing else that I want to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I agree. I agree.
End of rant there.
Yeah. Oh, but we have a voicemail here from our good friend Bucky with the good hair.
Horvey Dowd himself.
Good afternoon, fellas. Bucky with the good hair here calling. Wanted to drop a thought or 2 about Discovery for Discovery Home Companion. I'm happy as a clam with it so far. It's interesting and engaging, and it looks pretty. I'm fine with that. Other than the Klingon concerns I've already voiced on Twitter, I am absolutely convinced that this ship is a mystery box, but I think that we've bludgeoned that to death already, so I'm going to walk away from that. My 2 thoughts after Context is King are this. I like Commander Landry, even though she's a bitch. That Vulcan line in the turbo lift was great, except for the fact that on Deep Space Nine, we learned the Vulcans are 3 times as strong as a human and faster too, as one bald captain once said. And my second thought is, why in the fuck does Lorca have a goddamn tribble on his desk? A goddamn tribble. A tribble. God damn it. All right, fellas, keep up the good work. Find me on Twitter at BuckyWT. Good hair. Peace and love all around.
I think that we all have...
We suspect that the treble will come into play later in the actual story.
We all have a fan service trigger. Mine is Spock.
Yes.
His was a tribble. I don't know.
Klingons is a big one for people.
Yeah.
What's mine?
Don't know.
Mine is not having Majel Barrett be the voice of the computer, but I've
that's a good. Mine is picking and choosing the bullshit technology that you keep from the original series, and then going light years away from it.
Yes.
In other ways.
Yeah, and
that's mine.
I hate that but that's a thing that I'm sure other people's made it before, but in the Plinkett review of the pilot, I thought like the point of him, he said that he just enjoyed watching it by just imagining that it was 100 years after the Dominion War. And I was like, if you correct the Spock stuff, it all kind of stands.
It would work as
there's no, if the Spock stuff is the only thing holding it back. Everything else works so far. And it feels better. It just feels better, you know?
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder why
everybody's
they didn't do that, but
they've got robots and androids. Everybody's transhuman. It actually does.
yes.
You can't have Harry Mudd 100 years after that.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
true.
get there. Yeah.
You could have Harry Mudd the 12th or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Or hell, maybe Harry Mudd was always a cube,
right.
and that's why he's
Yeah.
You could have
because that's
then it could be like Ferengi or something.
Right. I mean, we all agreed we would have preferred a post Nemesis 100 years later thing.
yes.
But, that's not what we got, so I'm willing to deal with the changes, whatever.
No, I guess my point so much is that how much it all feels better.
No, I'm not even trying to...
If you just view it that way.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to be my regular combative bitchy self at you there, James.
Yeah, no. I mean, you gotta get. I can't. My critique going forward can't be like there's hologram people everywhere.
Yeah,
but at the beginning, I just like it is an issue. It does feel wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we doing on calls? Are we at the part where we get?
We have one more, but I also want to say thank you for being a friend of Cisco there, JR.
Hey, yes, JR, yes.
That's the that he was referencing our Patreon there at patreon.com/kickers of elves. We might mention that at the end. I don't know, but hey, we have a good time.
We might
over there.
circle back on that. Huh?
Yeah. We have one more call here from another friend of ours, Kate.
Kate.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to emotionally take her being frustrated with me. So let's see what happens here.
All right, maybe this is her thoughts on the first 2 episodes.
Okay, I'm safer.
It's long. It's long and it gets pretty ranty, but I had strong feelings. So here you go.
Strong and ranty. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, I know that really that really curbs.
Oh boy, that's
really
off brand for you, isn't it? Wait, James.
Hi guys, it's Kate calling for Discovery Home Companion. I finally watched the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery, and there were things I liked and things I really, really didn't like. First, I've got a couple of pros and a couple of cons. I don't know a whole lot about Vulcans, since there aren't any major Vulcan characters on the 2 Star Trek shows I've watched all the way through, but I thought the glimpses of Michael's relationship with Sarek and Vulcan culture were pretty interesting. I liked the way their conversations managed to show that they care about each other, even while they both claim to be maintaining an emotional distance and acting only based on logic. I also liked that Michael's mutiny doesn't fit neatly into either a logical or emotional box. Her attitude towards the Klingons is clearly a muddled combination of both. On the other hand, the flashbacks to Michael's childhood had me wondering, where the fuck is Amanda Grayson? During the school scene, I found myself wishing that Amanda would show up and explain to Sarek that logic is not an effective cure for trauma in pre-adolescent humans. I was also a little disappointed that Michael seemed so Vulcan in the scene where she met Captain Giorgio for the first time, and we didn't see much evidence that she also had a human foster parent. But hopefully this will be resolved later. I know Amanda's going to appear in the show at some point, so I guess I'll just have to wait and see. Then there's the Klingons. Leaving aside my issues with the confusing changes to Klingon physiology, I'm not a huge fan of what we've seen on screen so far. I agree with James that the heavier makeup isn't doing the actors any favors, and having them all speak Klingon with each other makes them harder to relate to and less interesting to watch. It's not like watching people speak a real-world language I don't understand. All the Klingons have the same slow, choppy speech patterns with no major variations in speed or tone. There's plenty of time for this to improve, and for us to see the show's Klingon characters convey a wide range of emotions and mannerisms, but so far I'm not impressed. I'm fine with T'Kuvma and his people being super religious and serious, but I wish there had been some variety in the rest of the Klingon leaders. The show establishes right away that there are 24 ruling houses in the Empire, and that the reason the Klingons aren't a bigger threat is that they don't get along well enough to act as a group. So why on earth is it so easy for T'Kuvma, who is not the leader of a great house and seems to be some kind of outcast from Klingon society, to get them all on board with his crazy plan. I hope we get to see a lot more conflict in the Klingon leadership, and some of the cultural differences between the houses as well. Maybe then I'll find them more interesting. And finally, the thing I liked most about the first 2 episodes was the relationship between Michael Burnham and Philippa Georgiou, and the thing I liked the least was losing that relationship. I went into these episodes unspoiled, and genuinely did not expect Georgiou to die. I'd seen speculation that it might happen, and the death of a mentor figure or a big-name actor early on is certainly not an unusual television trope, but I honestly expected better from this show. Discovery's promotional campaign relied heavily on the promise of diversity, and for me and many other fans, this was one of the show's main draws. At the center of this promise were Burnham and Georgiou, 2 women of color in command roles who were set up to be not only accomplished officers, but close friends. There have never been 2 women with this type of dynamic in Star Trek before. We've had command teams made up of a man and a woman, but never 2 women, and never any women who weren't white. The trailers for Discovery seemed to indicate that the relationship between these 2 characters would be one of the core elements of this story, and at first the show delivered. I found the plot and side characters mildly enjoyable at the best of times, but it was Burnham and Georgiou who captured my attention and made me want to keep watching. Getting to see 2 women talking to each other a lot about important things, making all the crucial decisions, clashing with each other over differences in ideology while still remaining fiercely devoted to each other, was a deeply satisfying and powerful experience for me. And when Georgiou died, I felt cheated. I felt lied to. I thought the show was really committing to something that female Star Trek fans have wanted forever, but instead I got slapped in the face at the last minute by the realization that no matter how diverse the cast was, the show was still being created and produced by white men relying on predictable tropes to produce cheap drama. Killing Philippa Georgiou was unnecessary, it was cruel to fans, and even if the rest of the show turns out to be amazing, I'm not sure I'll be able to get over it.
Man, I'm glad Kate called, and I'm glad she was able to air out how she feels about that. I think that anger that she feels needs to be heard.
Yeah,
because there's probably other fans listening to this who probably feel a similar way, because it really is. It would have been even more interesting if they had Michelle Yeoh play Gabriel Lorca, and that would have almost been that. If you had Jason Isaacs playing George, or whatever, Jason Isaacs was killed in the first 2 episodes, because then what you have is you've got a white middle-aged white guy captain who's got a first officer with he's grooming for greater things and ends up cut short in a mutiny and intergalactic incident, and then meets Michelle Yeoh. I mean, even that would have delivered on the promise of something new for Star Trek, which is having 2 female leads. Even if one of their motives are questionable, it's still interesting.
Yeah.
I mean that's how I would fix the problem. If you could tell the exact same story, just switch the casting, and it would have been interesting.
I have to say that that what you're saying about that, how I hate to say that it's familiar, but how Jason Isaacs, who's great, and let's not take that away from him, is familiar in this role because he's played this kind of it's almost like call your agent, Jason Isaac. You're pretty typecast, and maybe he's just resigned to it at this point, where he's pretty typecast. But I don't think I've seen.
He had that NBC show where he was the good guy that got canceled, where he was jumping through time.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't.
Life on Mars?
Or sleepwalking. No. The one where he was sleepwalking.
Yeah, there was also the one where he was
crimes. Sleepwalking or something, solving crimes when he was sleeping. I don't know, some shit like that.
That's the only good guy role that you can actually remember, and that he feels so familiar. So when he explained and kind of opened the kimono to Burnham in that scene where he takes her into the room with the spores, that I was like, oh, so maybe he is different, and maybe he is just that I'm a little I'm a little more shades of gray than a typical Manichaean captain for Starfleet. But then they had that scene where not Apollo's wife seems like Igor to him, I've done your bid, master.
Right.
Yes. And then he goes, well, I will spend some night with my pet or whatever.
Right.
And you think that they're talking about Burnham and then
they're talking about the Tard.
the Tard.
Not the Targ, the Tard, and that's not the tardigrade.
The giant genetically altered tardigrade.
Water bear. That's but
yes, they can survive in space, right? They can survive in the back of
so
space.
they can. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is a thing.
Yeah, it's also like a science nerd
totally
thing, like exciting thing that people talk about now. So maybe so
and
that
the
might
fact
be it.
that
But
I think that Jason Isaacs, part of what excites him about this role is that like maybe he's a bad guy, but they're going to play with more gray areas. But this was a guy that was excited about being in the OA, so who knows? He's a great actor.
He's also, I mean, okay, this is where we're because we don't have anything. We're talking a lot about promotional material that people are saying. People are always excited about what they're working on. Always.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I hated the way this show was marketed, and Kate is absolutely right about how Michelle Yeoh was touted quite a bit. And, on IMDb, she's listed as being in more episodes, which are most likely going to be in flashback form. So I'm sure we get to explore that relationship.
I have this week, and this could have been taken on a promotional thing, or they could have been having a party. I don't know. But I know that last week they all tweeted out the cast tweeted out a picture of them taking a knee in support of Colin Kaepernick and the NFL things. And Michelle Yeoh was with them. Jason Isaac wasn't. Michelle Yeoh was with them. So, like I said, it could have been promotional. It could have been something, but somehow she's still she's not back home.
Just because they're putting in her in flashbacks doesn't mean they've already filmed them in the past.
Oh, I know.
Sure.
I'm saying that's my point. I'm saying she's still a part of filming.
But hey, man, I don't know. All I say is they didn't bring her body back, so I'm not convinced they're not going to bring her back.
Oh boy!
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm saying
every one of your speculations about the show makes it worse than it is.
I'm just saying,
it breaks your brain a little bit further.
I'm along for the ride, and I'm not prejudging. I'm like, well, let's see what they do, instead of like, oh, there's fucking the
Kate.
pooch.
We feel your pain.
We do feel your pain.
You got
yeah.
You got the bad end of the stick here, Kate.
Yeah, you got a ship full of white people now.
Yeah, the Tukuvma bringing all the Klingons together. I feel like it was a thing about this, whatever the beacon was, and part of me used to think that this was going to be part of the mystery box.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but they could have.
I feel like they're just. I feel like that's the thing they brought up, and that Brian Fuller wrote into the pilot. Thought was going to be a big part of the series, and he wrote into the pilot, and now it'll probably get forgotten.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the third episode makes it seem like, yes, they're fighting Klingons, but the storyline of the Klingons is inconsequential. They're only the threat that the war is hung upon. It's about from this point on. It seems I mean, who knows?
They took a break.
But it seemed.
Right, maybe they took a breather episode to leave the Klingons behind, except for the one alien of Klingon.
Yeah,
but we'll see. You're right. It could change tone every 2 episodes now. I don't.
Guys, is that it? Is that all for the calls?
That's all for Discovery.
Any plugs?
Sure. Go join our Patreon at Kickers of Elves.
Definitely join the Patreon at Kickers of Elves.
That's the only thing I want to plug tonight.
Yeah. We throw extra stuff up on that. It's not just going to be you supporting us without getting anything. We have extra calls and audio. We put up for that.
And video.
We have opinions about the Orville that will probably go up there.
Yeah.
There is a fun video component. So yes, it's been pretty great. And
we're pretty swamped while doing 2 podcasts at once. But once this show's over, we'll probably do more extra stuff.
Yes, and we have plans for after this kind of dies down. So all right,
right,
and something's coming on. Yeah, there'll be new features coming up soon. So
yeah. And give us a call since you heard all us talking about these calls.
Yes,
at 917-408-3898, or send us an email and append it to that. Less than 3 minutes, please. Smaller, it's easier to get them in. At rulesofacquisitionpodcast@gmail.com. That you heard several calls submitted that way. You can do it that way as well.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. We hope you join us next week for Discovery Home Companion. For James, Wade, and myself, 3 to beam out.
All right. Boop.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Caster or Fuckcast or Podsucker. Review us on iTunes. Also grab a bit of fame for yourself by calling us at 917-408-3898 and leaving us a message. We play that shit on air. Or email us at rulesofacquisitionpodcast@gmail.com. Also, listen to our Deep Space Nine podcast Rules of Acquisition. It is pretty amazing, but you may not yet be ready for its awesome amazingness. Assess your personal awesomeness appropriately.